Your closest friend is a Sigma male. For years, everything's been solid. Real connection, genuine trust. Then overnight, he's ice cold, distant, barely responding. You replay conversations, searching for the fight that never happened, the betrayal you can't identify. Nothing dramatic occurred, just a sudden shift from warm to frozen. You're confused. He's not explaining. And that silence is the loudest part. This is why Sigma males suddenly become cold to their closest friends and what it actually means. Before we decode this pattern, understand this. What you're about to learn will fundamentally change how you view loyalty, boundaries, and the cost of taking people for granted. Stay until the end. The final trigger is the one most people never see coming. The pattern repeats across relationships. Years of close friendship with a Sigma male, shared history, inside jokes, deep conversations. Then something shifts. The warmth evaporates overnight. The friend who used to respond immediately now takes days. The person who valued your company now seems to tolerate it. The friendship that felt unshakable suddenly feels like it's hanging by a thread. Most people spiral, searching for the moment it broke. What did I say? What did I do? When did this start? They ask directly. He deflects or goes silent. The confusion compounds the hurt. The lack of explanation feels like additional punishment. But here's the truth. What looks like a sudden shift to you isn't sudden to him. It's the culmination of a pattern he's been tracking, a decision point that's been building, a response to accumulated data that finally crossed a threshold. The coldness seems sudden because his tolerance was invisible. You didn't see the boundary until you'd already crossed it 100 times. The shift to coldness serves specific purposes. It's not punishment. It's not a mood swing. It's not random emotional withdrawal. It's strategic response to recognized pattern. It's communication when words failed. It's boundary enforcement when boundaries were repeatedly violated. The coldness is information, if you know how to read it. Drop a comment right now if you've experienced this coldness, either as the Sigma male enforcing it or the friend trying to understand it. Let's see how universal this pattern actually is. Today we're breaking down exactly why Sigma males suddenly become cold to their closest friends, the 5 triggers that activate the freeze, what it means about the friendship, whether recovery is possible, and what you can do if you're on either side of this dynamic. Trigger 1. The pattern of being taken for granted. The first reason Sigma males go cold is they detected a pattern of exploitation disguised as friendship, small violations accumulating over time, requests morphing into expectations, appreciation disappearing, effort becoming one-sided. The imbalance becomes undeniable. The coldness is the correction. This starts subtly. A friend begins assuming the Sigma male will always help, always be available, always accommodate. The requests multiply. Can you help me move? Becomes, you're helping me move on Saturday. The reciprocation decreases. When the Sigma male needs help, the friend is suddenly busy, unavailable, has other commitments. The balance shifts from mutual to parasitic. The Sigma male notices every shift, tracks every request, every time he showed up, every time the friend didn't reciprocate. But he says nothing initially, just observes the pattern developing, collecting data, waiting to see if it self-corrects. The friend doesn't notice the imbalance because the Sigma male doesn't complain, continues helping, continues accommodating, continues being available. This lack of pushback is interpreted as acceptance. The friend assumes everything is fine, assumes the arrangement is sustainable, doesn't see the tolerance running out like sand in an hourglass. What the friend misses is that Sigma males track everything. Every favor asked, every time they showed up at 2 a.m., every canceled plan when they needed support, every instance of effort being one-sided. The data accumulates. The pattern becomes undeniable. A conclusion crystallizes. This person is using me, not valuing me. The coldness appears when the pattern crosses a threshold, when it's no longer occasional imbalance but consistent exploitation. When the friendship has transformed from mutual benefit to vampiric drain. The shift from warm to cold is a decision. This person has moved from asset to liability, from valued relationship to unsustainable burden. The coldness serves multiple purposes. It withdraws what was being taken for granted, removes the availability that was being exploited, creates space that forces the friend to notice something fundamental has changed. The withdrawal is communication. The old arrangement is over. This is the new reality. Adapt or exit. Most friends don't understand the coldness because they didn't see the pattern building. From their perspective, everything was fine. Then suddenly it wasn't. But actually, things weren't fine for a while. They just didn't notice because the Sigma male tolerated without complaining. The tolerance created a false sense that everything was acceptable. The coldness isn't punishment, it's boundary enforcement. The friend crossed the line from mutual friendship to exploitative relationship. The coldness reestablishes the boundary, creates distance that prevents further exploitation. If you're recognizing yourself as the friend who took things for granted, drop "pattern recognized" in the comments. Self-awareness is the first step to recovery. Can the relationship recover? Potentially, but only if the friend recognizes the pattern and genuinely corrects it, not just apologizes, actually changes the behavior, shows through sustained action over months that they understand what went wrong and have fundamentally adjusted how they show up. But most friends never figure it out because the pattern was invisible to them. Trigger 2. Trust violation that seems small. The second reason is the friend violated trust in a way that seems minor to them but catastrophic to the Sigma male. They shared private information, broke a confidence, lied about something that seemed inconsequential. The violation appears trivial. To the Sigma male, it's a fundamental breach that destroys the foundation. Sigma males are intensely private. What they share with close friends is carefully curated, deeply personal, given in sacred trust. When a friend treats that trust casually, shares what shouldn't be shared, gossips about what was confidential, lies about where information came from, the betrayal is absolute. The trust is destroyed. The relationship is fundamentally damaged. The friend often doesn't realize the severity. I only told one person. It wasn't that private. I didn't think you'd mind. They're minimizing the violation because it seems small to them. To the Sigma male, there's no such thing as a small trust violation. Trust is binary. It either exists or it doesn't. Any violation destroys it completely. What triggers the coldness is the discovery of the breach. Sometimes it's immediate. Sometimes he finds out weeks or months later. But whenever discovery happens, the response is instant coldness. The warmth that existed with trust disappears with the trust. What remains is cold distance, permanent damage. The friend is confused because the violation seems disproportionate to the response. It was one small thing, but actually, it wasn't small. It revealed fundamental character, revealed the friend can't be trusted with private information, revealed that their judgment about what constitutes private differs drastically, revealed incompatibility at the most basic level. The coldness protects against further breach. If the friend violated trust once, they'll violate it again. The coldness withdraws access to private information, creates distance that prevents new opportunities for betrayal. The protection is permanent because trust, once broken with a Sigma male, doesn't regenerate. Most friends want to apologize and fix it, but the apology is irrelevant. You can't apologize your way back to trust. Trust isn't rebuilt through words, it's rebuilt through years of demonstrated reliability. And Sigma males rarely give second chances at the trust level. The sudden coldness after trust violation is the Sigma male communicating, "We're different now, not enemies, not nothing, but different, less close, less intimate, less trusted." The coldness maintains the new reality where the friend is kept at a distance that prevents future trust violations. Trigger 3. Repeated boundary violations. The third reason is the friend repeatedly ignored boundaries despite clear communication. The Sigma male stated a boundary clearly. The friend crossed it anyway. The boundary was restated, crossed again. This pattern of boundary violation triggers cold withdrawal. This happens because many people don't take Sigma male boundaries seriously. They're stated calmly, without anger, without drama. The friend assumes they're flexible, assumes violation won't have consequences, assumes warmth means boundaries aren't firm, all catastrophically wrong assumptions. Sigma males communicate boundaries clearly once, maybe twice. After that, violations trigger response rather than further communication. The response is strategic withdrawal, coldness, distance, creating a physical and emotional boundary that can't be crossed because access has been removed. The boundary violations vary. The friend keeps bringing up topics the Sigma male explicitly said he doesn't discuss, keeps inviting him to social events he clearly stated he doesn't attend, keeps asking personal questions he indicated are off limits, keeps pushing against stated limits to get him to open up. Each violation is a data point. A pattern emerges. A decision is made. The coldness appears when the Sigma male realizes words aren't working. The friend isn't respecting verbally stated boundaries. A behavioral boundary must be created. That behavioral boundary is withdrawal. You can't violate the boundaries of someone who isn't accessible. The friend is confused because they didn't think the boundaries were serious. I thought you were just being polite. I didn't think you really meant it. These responses prove the coldness was necessary. The friend wasn't listening to words. They required a behavioral consequence to understand the seriousness. The coldness serves as the ultimate boundary. You wouldn't respect the boundaries I stated. Here's a boundary you can't ignore. Physical and emotional distance. This is what happens when you repeatedly violate limits I clearly communicated. Many friends never connect the coldness to their boundary violations. They don't recognize the pattern, don't understand that repeated crossing of stated limits triggered the withdrawal. They think the coldness is a random mood or personality shift. Actually, it's a strategic response to a specific pattern they created. Trigger 4. Fundamental misunderstanding. The fourth reason is the friend demonstrated they don't actually understand the Sigma male. Despite years of friendship, they said something that revealed a fundamental misunderstanding, made assumptions that were completely wrong, showed they've been projecting their own values and worldview rather than actually knowing him. This realization is devastating. The Sigma male thought the friend actually understood him, thought years of friendship created genuine knowing. Then the friend says something or does something that reveals they don't understand at all. They've been relating to an imagined version rather than the actual person. The misunderstanding manifests in various ways. The friend makes a comment about how the Sigma male feels about something that's completely wrong, assumes motivations that don't exist, projects their own values and assumes they're shared, makes a decision on behalf of the Sigma male based on total misunderstanding of what he'd want. What's crushing isn't the single misunderstanding, it's the time investment. Years building friendship, years sharing, years assuming understanding was developing, then the discovery that understanding never happened. The friend was constructing a narrative about who the Sigma male is rather than actually listening to who he actually is. The coldness follows this realization. If the friend doesn't actually know him after years of friendship, the friendship isn't what he thought it was. It's based on misunderstanding. The friend is friends with an imagined version, not the actual person. That's not real friendship. That's friendship with a projection. The withdrawal protects against continued misunderstanding. Distance prevents further investment in a relationship that isn't actually based on mutual understanding. The coldness creates space between who he is and who the friend thinks he is. That space is permanent because understanding, like trust, can't be forced. The friend often doesn't understand why this matters so much. So I was wrong about one thing, not one thing. A fundamental thing that reveals years of friendship didn't create accurate understanding. That revelation destroys the foundation. Coldness is the appropriate response to discovering the foundation was always false. Trigger 5. Attempts to change or fix. The fifth reason is the friend tried to change him, started giving unsolicited advice, suggesting he should be different, pushing growth or change that wasn't requested. The attempt to mold triggers immediate cold withdrawal. This happens when the friend decides the Sigma male needs to change. You should be more social. You should open up more. You should try to fit in better. The suggestions come from what the friend believes is a caring place, but they're received as fundamental rejection. Translation: who you are isn't acceptable. You need to be different. Sigma males are intensely autonomous. They chose who they are deliberately. They're not broken versions waiting to be fixed. They're complete people who function differently. A friend suggesting they need to change is a friend saying, "Your way is wrong." The coldness appears when suggestions become a pattern. One comment might be ignored. Repeated attempts to change them trigger protective withdrawal. The coldness communicates, "I'm not changing. If who I am isn't acceptable, keep your distance." What the friend doesn't understand is that Sigma males spent years becoming who they are. Every trait was developed for a reason. Every behavior serves a purpose. The friend suggesting changes is revealing they don't value what was built. They want a different person. That rejection triggers withdrawal. The coldness protects autonomy. Distance prevents further change attempts, creates a barrier against continued pressure to be different. The withdrawal says, accept who I am or don't have access, but stop trying to fix me. Many friends think they're helping. I just want you to be happier. I'm trying to help you connect better. But the help wasn't wanted, wasn't requested. The helping is actually controlling, attempting to shape someone into a different version. That's disrespectful. Coldness is a proportionate response to disrespect. Can the friendship recover? Drop a comment. Recoverable or permanent? Which trigger do you think allows for recovery and which one destroys the friendship forever? Whether the friendship can recover depends entirely on which trigger caused the coldness. Some triggers allow recovery, others don't. Understanding which is crucial. Recoverable triggers include being taken for granted and boundary violations. If the friend genuinely recognizes the pattern and corrects the behavior, not just apologizes, but actually changes the behavior pattern and shows through sustained action over time that they understand and have corrected, recovery is possible, but it requires genuine behavior change maintained over months, not just words. Unrecoverable triggers include trust violation, fundamental misunderstanding, and attempts to change. These damage the foundation. You can't rebuild a foundation. Trust broken doesn't regenerate. Misunderstanding revealed after years can't magically become understanding. These create permanent distance. If you're a friend trying to understand the sudden coldness, here's the critical mistake most people make. They ask the Sigma male to explain what they did wrong. This puts the burden on him to teach you. Better approach: reflect on your own behavior. Identify the pattern. Correct it without requiring explanation. Demonstrate understanding through changed behavior, not through demanding he do the emotional labor of explaining. Most friends don't recover because they can't identify their own pattern. They want the Sigma male to explain what they did wrong rather than reflecting honestly on their own behavior. The demand for explanation is itself often a continuation of the pattern that triggered the coldness in the first place. The inability to self-reflect prevents recovery. The coldness might never fully resolve even if the friendship recovers. The warmth that existed before might be gone permanently. What remains is a cooler, more distant friendship. The return to previous warmth requires a return to previous conditions. Those conditions are often permanently altered by whatever triggered the coldness. If you're experiencing this coldness right now, either as the Sigma male enforcing it or the friend trying to understand it, drop your situation in the comments. No judgment, just pattern recognition. If you're in a friendship with a Sigma male that's still warm, maintain it through respect, boundaries, reciprocity, and trust. The warmth is valuable. The coldness is what happens when these foundations are violated. And if you're the Sigma male who's gone cold, you don't owe an explanation. Your withdrawal is the explanation. The pattern you recognized was real. The boundary you enforced was necessary. The coldness protects what matters. Until next time, respect the patterns. This is Primal Mind.